Hi, I'm Dee Wilkinson from Southwest Coaching, and I wanted to talk to you today about being able to lower your anxiety in anxious moments when you are in the workplace. So I get a lot of coachees coming to me saying, Dee, I get overwhelmed, I feel quite stressed, and then I can feel my heart going and I'm beginning to feel anxious, and what happens is I can't think properly. And I just need ways of calming down in the moment so that I can maintain my professionalism and my focus and keep centered when I feel slightly under threat. So there's three really short tips that can help you in those moments that are really quite easy and practical, but they do need practice because we want to ingrain them in the process of being accessible to us when we need them. So the first one of the three tips is go into peripheral vision. So what I mean by this is if you think about if you're a zebra and you're on the plains and your head's down and you're munching away, you're not really panicking or worried about things. You're just thinking, I'm busy eating, but you're in peripheral vision. So your vision stretches right out to the side so that if a lion comes into view and suddenly decides he wants to eat you, you pick that up in your peripheral vision. And as soon as you're under threat and danger, you begin to focus, ready to run away from that lion. So the fact is, physiologically, when we are in peripheral vision, it's really hard to become highly anxious and to become focused and have a flight response activated. So if you start to feel you're under threat or feel your flight response being activated or your freeze response or whatever happens to you in your thinking, just try going into peripheral vision, because instantly you can breathe more deeply and it starts to lower your anxiety and you can retain your thinking. So that's tip number one. If you feel anxious, go into peripheral vision. Okay, tip number two is the one word tip. So this is about an emotional response, and we need to feel our emotions, and so many people try to suppress them. And there now is evidence that, and research done, when we try to suppress an emotion and stop it leaking out, it has been found to put the blood pressure up in the person opposite to us, the person that's witnessing that. So it's really quite profound that suppressing emotions, whilst we think it's helping us in the moment, actually can have the opposite effect. So what do we do with that then? Because we can't sort of just let rip or get angry in a professional situation. We can't lose the plot, have a meltdown. So what we need to do is acknowledge that emotion. And people have been wary of this because they think that if they start to acknowledge the emotion, they will start to unravel emotionally. And actually, that couldn't be further from the truth. There's been a lot of research done on this. It's a great book called Your Brain at Work by David Rock. Highly recommend it. But what he talks about is the fact that if you can name the emotion with one word, what that does is help the brain acknowledge it and then retain your thinking brain instead of your thinking brain becoming overloaded and going to a flight, freeze or fight response. So if you're in a meeting and you might not be able to say angry because there's too many people listening, you could write down the word angry on your notepad and just write the one word that expresses the emotion you're feeling, and that instantly enables your brain to continue focusing on what it is that needs to be said. Then I suggest after the meeting, if you still need to process that emotion, then find an appropriate time to do so. So it might be that, if you really did feel emotional, that you wanted to go and cry, go to the toilets afterwards, have a good cry, nobody needs to know, and you haven't lost face and everything's can go on as normal. So don't ignore your emotions, but do recognize them using the one word technique if you're feeling anxious at any given time, but you can't express it fully in that moment. So that's tip two. Tip three is as old as the hills, and we all know it, but we don't use it enough. You're breathing. So as soon as you start to feel under threat or your anxiety rises, the simplest thing you can do, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, deep down into your stomach. You want to feel your tummy expand when you breathe in. Breathe right down to your tummy and out. And take 3 or 4 or 5 deep breaths to start to really still and calm yourself. Because again, just like the fight, flight, or freeze response we talk about so much, when you're deep breathing, that deactivates that sense of response and reduces your anxiety. So I hope that's been helpful, but just 3 top tips to keep your anxiety down when you need to in a professional situation or any situation really. And I would definitely recommend to keep breathing. So hope to speak to you soon. Take care for now and good luck. Bye.